Bulungunak and welcome to Fiji Village Play. I'm your host, Alipate Narawa, and with me is sports commentator Tifa Vataike. Tifa, we've got a lot to talk about this week. We've got the Commonwealth Games. We've also got the Deans, and we'll also dive in a bit later into the Fiji Rugby saga. Be talking to Fiji Rugby chair, John Sandy, a bit later on. But before that, Tifa, Jasmine Kamakama. This girl. What do you think about her?
You know what? Honest to goodness, I've only seen her as a participant on a show that was held here a couple of years ago.
A show?
A show, yes. And because she's a singer, right? And you know what? It always gives me something, a little bit of a, not really scared, but like she sings, she boxes, she's about to win a gold medal. It's like, oh my goodness.
Well, she's in the running for a medal. So all she has to do, give her best, make it through to the finals.
Semi-finals, big ups to her. Love her work. Just was watching just a couple of, because that you get coverage here and there.
Yes. It was pretty good, man. So then can she sing? Can she sing? She can also knock your socks out.
Literally.
So her fight is coming up on Saturday. We checked with the Commonwealth Games. They haven't confirmed the time yet, but her fight is coming up on Saturday with these semi-finals. But what about the other Team Fiji athletes that are taking part at the Commonwealth Games? We've got Helena Young on the track.
Yep.
We've also got Aaron Ganga. We've also got a high jumper that he came the ninth, but he jumped a height of 2.05 meters. Wow, that guy's...
I love the whole Athletics Fiji will always have a special place in all our hearts. It stems from the Coca-Cola days of watching all the athletes. And you know what? Hats off to them, doing their personal best. I even saw former Super Grammar student, Claudia David.
Yes, representing home country.
It was so good to see two Fiji girls out there in the same year.
Yes, we'll claim her.
And personal bests all around. Helena Young is always going to be she's going to be a vet at this point, a veteran.
Also coming up in the next hour, Taniela Ranimbongi will be taken to the stage in the 90 kg weightlifting.
Oh,
so definitely props to him. Also props to our swimmers as well. We've got David Toluyang, Anahira Makachin, Kelera Mundunosoko. These guys have been flying the Fiji flag in the pool and they've been doing well so far. David Toluyang made it to the finals.
Yep.
Unfortunately, just missed out on a medal in the finals. But speaking about the Commonwealth Games, we've also got...
Fijian-born
athletes like Eileen Dikamatana, who has just won a gold earlier this morning, and she also is one of three ladies that has won a gold medal at 3 consecutive Commonwealth Games. The first one was in 2018 for Fiji, then we lost her out, and 2022 and 2026 has been with Australia.
I always want to say, like, she might be flying that Australian flag or wearing Australian colors, but as Fijians, we should be proud that she's one of us, just in a different shade.
Different flag. Different flag, but she's from Fiji. Also, there was a Fijian girl as well that was representing New Zealand, Liti Nangulivu, I think. She came fourth in that same event with Eileen this morning. It was really good to see that there are a lot of athletes out there with Fijian blood representing, and we're claiming all of them. Just so you know, we're claiming them. Okay, so moving on to the Deans. There's a lot that's happening this weekend. We've got the eliminations and whatnot. So who are you going for? But before we go into the eliminations, let's talk about this new terms of participation that came up earlier this week, where a team going through can pick recruit six players from their division to help their team through.
You see the people being vocal online.
Oh yeah, they're very vocal.
It's very crazy. Like for some reason, like some people they do shed some light. Like there's athletes who've worked their best to be in the squad, and that's all fine and good. But then we had some of our teammates who've contacted schools who are in the eliminations for the under 18, and they say that it's a good thing. The principal of Ratuluke saying that because of their school role is they're below the 200s. Okay, they can't fill the full team always because of injuries. It's been a long season for them. So for them to be in the elimination and being allowed that option to recruit students to come in and play in the under 18s, because they probably will never have another chance like this again.
Okay. QS principal says that maybe there should have been more consultation before bringing in something like this, like just off the top, like maybe the school should have been consulted, maybe parents. Because when it comes down to it, the biggest base of support for the students are the parents and the ex-scholars. So what will they be thinking when they go through? If they go through and they win,
right,
will they still be representing their former school or the current school that they're at just for the rugby?
I think at that point we all know that they're wearing which school colours. It's much like how we were talking about Aileen Dikmatana wearing Australian colours, but is a Fiji born. They might have come for the school, but as we understand the thought process, not all schools have big rugby programs like the QVSs, the RKS, the Suvagrammars and Marists.
Yes.
Some of these schools that are coming in have very little school numbers. The school roll is not over 200, like I said earlier. But at the same time, they still want to compete. So for me, I'm saying it's a good thing because the small programs get a fighting chance at it. And it's all the better for the rugby.
There was even the idea that was floated around that, these are really good players in some small schools. Their schools might not make it, but them coming to a new school, being recruited, maybe they could finally taste finals rugby.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what we all want, our young athletes to get a taste of, high school foot, like just that finals footy or finals rugby. And it's just something about them getting into the mindset. And there's still some quirks. Yes, there should have been some consultation, but on the other hand, it's like literally balanced at this point.
All right. I'll let you go with that. So you're on that side of the fence.
I'm on the side.
I think, I'm swaying towards the other side on like, where does your loyalty lie? And also with when you recruit these students, those that have been in the system over the years, have been grinding it out from the under 14, coming together, fighting together, bleeding together, then get there and then all of a sudden they're kicked out.
This is such a perfect example, and I'm going to give you this. This is an interview from Kieran Reid talking about how he pushed out Brett Thorne. He was originally the number 8, and he said it's the team first before yourself. So I'm just going to put that as a
it's the team first before yourself.
Let's just put it like that. But look, at the end of the day, we just want these students to have a fighting chance from all programs, whether it be from RKS or Ratuluke. We want them to have the best team fielded because it's going to make all the other teams play better. But unfortunately, there are some dark sides because of the dark sides to this whole new, this new choice. You know what I mean, right?
Well, whatever it comes down to, we're wishing all the teams all the best in the eliminations and the playoffs this weekend. Coming up after this, we'll be talking to FRU Chair John Sandy.
At Communications Fiji Limited, we are more than just radio. We are Fiji and the Pacific's largest and most dynamic media group, reaching people wherever they are, however they connect. We connect daily with over 3.77 million listeners across the region. Let's create something amazing together. On air, online, on the streets, on stage, Communications Fiji Limited is where connection happens. With innovation, reach, and creativity, we are the complete media partner for your business.
Hello and welcome to Fiji Village Play. I'm your host, Alipate Narawa, and with me is Fiji Rugby Chair, Mr. John Sandy. Mr. Sandy, welcome to the show. The last time we did this virtually, now you're back here, you're with me in the studio. Just you want to run us through about some things that went down in Europe?
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for the welcome, and thank you, everyone. Thank you to your followers and your listeners. It's a great opportunity to be here. and to give us an opportunity to speak to your followers and to just keep the conversation going. I think first of all, I just want to qualify a few things that has happened. I've been out in the media a bit more than I normally like to, but I just want to encourage everyone that all the conversation and the discussions that I've been putting out is about us, learning and understanding the issues. It's not about trying to pinpoint finger or laying blame. This is about how we can all work together and be better informed, so that we can slowly build, to a better place. And that's the reason why I have been a bit more forthcoming, so that we can share our stories, share the challenges that we go through. It's not easy, I can tell you that much. I mean, I've been chair for 2 years now. It hasn't been an easy journey. It's been challenging, to restructure the organization, to reform the whole, landscape of rugby, so that we can start to benchmarking against the tier one, how we can then take this to that level. It's a lot of work and a lot of investment that needs to go in there, a lot of thinking, a lot of thought processes. So I need to share that with the public, so that we are all knowledgeable about it. It's not about, so that we become less emotional outbursts, rather than we can have educated conversation. I'm happy to take criticism. I have no problem with that. But give me something constructive. Yeah, I'm a big boy. I can take knocks. I've been a rugby player all my life, so So with those 3 words, I just want to welcome everyone.
No. Speaking about Europe,
Yep.
0 from 3 coming back from Europe.
Yes, it's. I can tell you that no one else is probably more disappointed or heartbroken is the word. Not disappointed, heartbroken. We are proud of our flying Fijians. We are, we know our talent that our boys have. We had all the resources made available to make sure that it was a success. And also, we, from the board's perspective, this was our chance to show the world who we are, but also to show SANZA that we belong. We can we can deliver a game that is of world-class standard, the game delivery, and we wanted to show that we could also play the game and win, so that we can say, oh wow, the commercial package around this will be a big boost to SANZA. That will then strengthen our position to go in and do the deal to get us in. That we did not deliver on the game day kind of spoiled their chance, but that's not the end of the world. We will fix all that and come back and try it again in November. So on the game delivery, we've done a fantastic job. The organizers are very impressed. They want us to come back in the weekend of the playoffs in November to run the pre-game entertainment. Leilani, our director Leilani, and the team, her team of volunteers have done a fantastic job. The community, the Fijian community in the UK have supported us and have delivered. Their children who have brought up in the English schools and speak English and all their lives and don't have very little knowledge of the Fijian culture, have another opportunity to understand Fijian culture, and they've embraced it. So it has been a big win for everybody. The game hasn't delivered, but we will fix that and we'll turn this around.
Moving straight on to it, what are some learnings that the FRU has brought back from hosting our first home games abroad? In terms of, I'm talking about, since you brought up the field not so good, but behind the scenes, off the scenes.
Yes, definitely. I mean, how to stage a game, how to stage a tier one game, and big game. How it's sequenced, the bits and pieces around it. That has been a big learning curve. The commercial apparatus around that, how the commercial side works around what we see as on the screen, but the commercial side behind it is a big thing, and that's where the staff that have gone up have come back maybe 10 times better than
So in terms of how much we've invested into it, what are our returns coming back from
the
Europe?
returns have been tremendous. Like I said, it's probably 10 times. For each dollar we've spent to take them up, the learnings, the networks, the people that they've met, and just being on that big grand stage has transformed them. And I'd say we've had a return on investment of about 10 times of each dollar spent. But that's not going to be captured in the profit and loss.
Okay. Would you be able to have a number?
Well, I'm just saying that it's hard to quantify the learnings. It's more when you put it in figure terms, it's more classified as a goodwill. That's the value that we bring. It's hard to sort of note it down in numbers, but I'm saying that it's about a 10 times return, because the value that they come back with and the knowledge and most importantly the network that they've built there. And so we've set us up, and the learnings we've set us up for our next 2028 when we'll do our home games, which is France, Ireland and Italy. It will be how we will host that and how the commercial arrangements will stack up, where the venues will be, because they're not, they're sort of European teams. That's another separate conversation. That's a separate
So already booked down next year's home games?
That's 2028. After World Cup, next year's World Cup, 2028
All
is
right,
our home
2028.
games. Yeah. So we're now, as soon as we get all these reviews done and publish the financials, we'll start work on planning that. Yeah.
How's the report coming along on the tour report?
Yes, we're waiting for the tour manager and the team management to put their report together and submit it. We have a board meeting scheduled for around the middle of August, where we hope to have all of that in place. And then from there, we'll map out the go forward process in terms of reviewing the tour report, which we're trying to get an independent person out of Australia to come and do an independent review. We'll also do our own review, but then we'll see how the two reports come through and then see where the gaps are. What can we do? How can we improve this? And how can we, make it a better outcome?
In terms of hosting our home games, the reason we've had it over in Europe was because we don't have a 25,000 capacity stadium.
That's correct.
We've also spoken about the property in Lomoloma, the land that FRU is getting. What is it, about 48 acres?
Correct, yeah, okay. So, the conditions for our participation in this Rugby Nations Cup is that we have to have a stadium with a minimum of 25,000 capacity. Out of the 25,000, there has to be 10,000 covered seating, which we don't have. So that's one leg of the conditions that we can't satisfy. I'll come to the other part later, but there's also the other part about player welfare, and as a result, we've been asked to host our games in neutral venues, which is why we then chose to, apart from other locations we looked at, we finally eventually chose to host it in the UK. And having said that, it sounds simple, but it's actually quite challenging, because we have to operate under UK law, and in those the duty of care and all of those things are much more burdensome in there. The law does work, and so the level of complexity and sophistication in terms of negotiation and the financial negotiations was tough. When I say tough, it was very tough.
In terms of our own stadium, how soon could we be breaking ground on that land?
Yeah, well, okay. So that comes back to this point about the stadium. So we've been having these negotiations with TLTB and the landowners about this 48-acre block of land in Saweni. We had proposed 60 acres, so they've come down to 48, and that's subject to final negotiation. But before we left to go to Europe, we were supposed to schedule a meeting with TLTB and the landowners to iron out the final details. Just the last update I got yesterday was that we just need to give them a bit more time, because the landowners are setting up their deed of trust and all the legal and banking side of things. And then we can then sit down and discuss the premium to be paid. And so once all of that's done, I'm thinking that it'll be a quick turnaround, because a lot of the work has already been done. So that will get a 48-acre block. So that will then become our block of land that belongs to FRU. It's under a tourism lease. And we hope to then get all that in a registered title, so that when we reevaluate it, the valuation will go up and it becomes a collateral to the bank to then fund some of the development and the professionalization of our domestic league. So it's kind of become a semi to almost a professional league. Because if we are tier one, all the tier one nations have a professional league, domestic league. If we are to compete, we need to have something similar. It doesn't have to be a fully professional one, but as long as it's semi-professional, we can keep the boys together and build a level of competition. So those are some of the plans that will be collateralized by this block of land.
Okay, let me just bring it back.
Right.
Breaking ground.
Yes.
Would it be within the next 2 years, 3 years, realistically, on when we can eventually see something happening?
Yeah, good question. As soon as we get the title and have it all surveyed in us, we've already this architects out of Australia that have made contact. We've got a local architect that has offered services to help us, get some pre-design work done. Some of the engineering firms have reached out. We're discussing with them. It all hinges on when we get the lease, and so that we can have access to the land and get this work done. And the sooner we get all the engineering work done, we will then have to go out and in the meantime, the conversation around raising the capital and funding the capital for it is already happening. But it'll strengthen our hand if we have the title.
Just bringing you back to now with the team traveling with the Tier 1, also, what's this about the team now traveling in business class? And explain a bit about that, and also about some discussions close to game day in terms of the allowance, to raise the allowance.
Yeah. Let me just say that this is a normal employer-employee situation. Now this is what they were requesting, and some of that we delivered. And they say, look, the other teams, they prefer business class, and so we organized that happened. We delivered. On the payment side of increasing it, that we said, look, maybe we won't be able to get to that level because we're just not in a financial position, because we're talking about a 40 person squad here, and if we pay them $1,000 a day, that's $40,000 a day, and they're going to be together for about a month. So that's $30. So that's about 1.2 million we're going to pay out, which we don't have. We will have, but then the question is, will it then affect our plans about our future, about the land and how we're going to develop that? So it's we're saying, look, we can afford a small increase, but please note that also that where you are today and what you've earned, it has come through FRU has developed all that. It's provided the development pathway for you to be who you are today. So if we can just be in a situation where we could just give and take, some of us who've been working on the board for 2 years, we haven't been paid 1 cent, but we've given now 100%, maybe 110%. So it's a conversation. So, but we've also said, if you win, we will pay you.
There's also the talk that's going around that this is not the first time that it's been done. That
True.
The FRU has been held hostage by the players.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is the first time it's happened to me as chair,
Yes.
but I know the history has happened.
Yes.
Several times. Yeah, and for me personally, it's not something I like to entertain. Yeah, you perform first. I'm happy to pay you.
Every day, thousands of Fijians turn to one place to know what is happening, for the stories that matter, for the moments that bring us together, for the news you trust. Recognized by BBC Media Action Research as one of Fiji's most trusted news sources, that place is Fiji Village. And because Fiji keeps moving, so do we. We've listened to how you read, watch and listen, what you love, what you want more of, and what could simply be easier. And now the wait is over. The new Fiji Village website is now live. Built with you in mind, made smarter, made faster, made for the way you connect with us every day. No more searching for your favorite videos. Watch Now brings everything together in one place, ready when you are. Missed your favorite radio show? Head to Listen, your home for live radio, podcasts and audio content whenever it suits you. Sports fans can now get live scores faster with our new scoreboard feature. Need a story explained? Ask AI is there to help as well. And reading late into the night? Switch on dark mode and scroll in comfort. The same trusted news now with a smarter, easier experience built for you. Fiji Village, your trusted news provider.
So that's really just my bottom line. If you're not going to get paid before you even perform, and that's just going to be the way it is going forward. Yeah.
Coming back to the team, coaching.
Yep.
Acting coach Senirusi Seruvakula, you had laid out that he needed to win 2 out of 3 games.
Yep.
Are we taking him on now to the Pacific Nations Cup next month? And with the Rugby World Cup beckoning just a few months away after that.
Yes. Yeah, that's...
what are the plans in place?
Well, that's true. Yeah, we like I said, we're having a board meeting the middle of next month, which is August, from which another pathway forward will be determined. But in any case, once the advertisement goes out, it will take about a month to give the coach a closing date. After that, the interviews and all that. So it'll be at least another 2 months before a coach is put in place, and that depends on the coach accepting the final offer. Recent experiences has been that they accept, and when the offer is made, they spend a few weeks and then they say no. So some of that has forced us, for instance, in the Fijiana coach. And they didn't accept it, so we had to be forced to accept Mike Legg. So it's not as a simple process as we'll get a coach and blah blah blah. Yes, that's a process. So in the meantime, we will have to continue and get the team preparation.
Have some other coaches shown their interest in coaching the Flying Fijians?
Well, not that I am aware of. Others have said, look, they're happy to come back. But I think
when you say come back.
Well, I was asked yesterday whether Simon Revolving has made some comments, and I said, well, look, let's just put the advertisement out, and then they can all apply. So
isn't he still in Australia?
Who's this?
Simon.
I think he still is. Yeah. I'm not familiar with.
Because last I heard he'd been with the director of rugby there or something.
So I don't know what his current status is, but I was just asked a question by someone, and I said, well, look, when the advertisement is put out, he's free to apply, like anybody. And even St. Lucie is free to apply. Anybody can apply.
What about Mickman?
Anybody can apply. We will then go through the process.
Because with his team just about to head out to Europe, there was a lot of comments that he was making in the media around...
I thought he was being disingenuous. He could have made those comments at the time. He chose to make it right on the eve of it, is to then try and sabotage Senirusi, which I thought was not... it was very cheap. I did not want to respond. We had our reasons why we made the decision and why we decided to part ways. But for him to come on the eve of that and throw this spanner in the works speaks more about him, his personality, and what is in his heart. And that's fine. That's his things. We just have to focus on what we can control. It's a bit unfair on Senirusi and the team. But that's the world we live in. That's not going to detract us from where we want to go with, where we want to take Fiji Rugby to in terms of the way we play, and how we're going to prepare for that. And that's the other thing. We're not going to just advertise for a coach for the sake of advertising for a coach. We first of all we got an idea of the kind of style of rugby we want to play and how it's going to be played. Then we got to find the right kind of coaches to come in and produce that kind of play. So that some of those coaches might already have their own set ways. So that's again another separate conversation, that a negotiation process.
There's even comments by fans that we are now at a tier 1 level. We should be treated as a tier 1 nation and also have a tier 1 coach. This is in reference to Senirusi Seruvakula.
Well, Senirusi is a tier 1 coach. He's a level 4 in Australia, level 4. But who else? McBain is not a level 4 in Australia. So, what are we talking about? He's a level 3 World Rugby, he's a level 4. He's probably only level 4 in Fiji. So, what is a tier 1 coach? A lot of tier 1 coaches probably haven't done their level. I'm not sure, but I'm just saying. It's, he produced the game against Scotland. It shows that he's got it. It just needs the right pieces.
You've also spoken about the team culture and the way things go. When you talk about team culture, what do you mean? Is it like a top-down approach from management? What do you mean?
Well, it's overall. The manager, the coach, the leadership group, the values that bind them together, and their loyalty to what Fiji Rugby stands for and where Fiji Rugby wants to go, because that is our business asset that they need to perform to help us to get where
Do you think the team culture would be a bit more healthy if the team spent more time together instead of the usual 4 days that the Fiji team has?
100%. I mean, that's, again, the Tier 1 nations have their domestic comps and their players are always together. Even though they're playing against each other, they get to spend time together very quickly. We have a situation where we appoint a coach, foreign coach, he comes in, and when the games come up, he just picks from France and then Rua. And we've been doing this for how many seasons now, and we kind of just hit the ceiling, and we kind of there, but beyond that, we can't seem to get beyond it because of that. We just don't have enough time. So we need to really look at all of these things. We can't just say, look, we got to appoint another coach and maybe he will take us. No. It has to be a much more deliberate, just very well thought out structure, which involves an investment, and it involves the right people, the right pieces to come in, the right support structure, and even the team culture. We got a good manager that the players can all look up to, or a tour leader. Then you have the assistant managers around them, and the leadership group, the team. So all of that adds up, and because that's when you play a test match, it's those little things that come up when the going gets tough.
Right, just on that going gets tough. Just your comments on the recent update to the terms of the deans.
Yep.
Where when a team qualifies and they go into the national qualifiers, that they can now recruit 6 players from their zone.
Yep.
What are your comments on that? A lot of comments right now is that these players have been playing together, some for years, to get to where they are. The chemistry is there. And to bring in players from outside that do not understand the team's culture. What are your comments on that?
But again, it's like you refusing to grow. For us to grow to the next level, we have to start to accept changes. And it also, like for instance, I think it was Rod Schooner. He just got 3 boys from Nambua and I think 1 from Assemblies of God. And these are the cream players from these small teams that they will never get the chance to play in the Dean's fans and never be seen. So they will be brought in, but they'll sit on the bench and go in as a replacement. It gives the chance for some of the special talents that they might be a very good player, but in a very weak team. But the weak team drops out, they drop out too, they become disinterested, they're going to, lose out. So it is a talent recognition, it is a rewarding, good talent and good. So we need to be open to new ideas. It's about innovation. It's about strengthening. Some schools too get a chance to be able to play in the Dean's Finals. They've always tried, but by being able to bring in an additional talent to boost, they can then challenge the big schools. And that it's good overall. It raises the standard right through.
When it comes to schools rugby in Fiji, most of it is funded by the parents and the ex-scholars. And these are the ones that are raising their voices.
Yep.
And even the curious principal has said, if they were given enough time and consultations, they would be a bit more accepting to it. Not that it just being like a shotgun wedding and then you have to do this. This is the law.
Well, as far as I know, there was consultation. I was in a meeting myself with all the school principals where these things was discussed. So, maybe they didn't turn up or maybe it wasn't discussed, but as far as I know, the consultations did take place. But I don't have the full details. All I can say is I was even in a meeting myself, present, when there were many school principals that were in attendance, where some of these discussions were held, and in particular for the one other discussion was the pathway for school kids that ended up in overseas contracts, and how we're setting in place the structures of the regulatory separate so that we can capture the development fees so that money comes back. It's distributed to the province, to the club, but also to the school. So that becomes a revenue generating opportunity for school kids to bring in the players and develop them. And so all of these conversations are happening in the background with the whole intent of raising these things. And if you look at, if you see, for instance, in the NRL and even in the big leagues, you go to the NBA, there's mid-season trades. It's just the way it is. This is modern professional rugby, professional sports. Man. We need to be open to these things. We can't continue to hold on to the past, which was fine, but we're now tier one. We need to start thinking about performance and growth.
How did this come about? Like the idea come about?
Well,
Was it been in the pipeline for a while? Or?
No, it has come up. We've thought about some of these innovations as the new board has come into place, but it has to be introduced at the right time with the right conversations and the right consultations so that we manage the growth. And in any change, there will always be those that say, look, why are we changing? But I urge everyone, please, let's open our mind to change. We want performance to speak, and we want to produce a higher quality game to attract even more crowds that can fund, generate the receipts and the revenue at the gate to help these teams generate more funds. And even also package up our games that it becomes an attractive proposition so that TV stations can start paying for it. I mean, it's all part of the the development of the game, giving chance for the boys and the girls that, as I said, come from schools that will never ever get into the semi-finals or quarterfinals, to give the chance for some of their top players to be involved. They come in and sit on the bench. They have to earn their way into the team. They're not going to just walk into the team. So it also introduces a lot of positive competitive tension.
What about the players that have been there from the start?
Well, I know there's loyalty, but at the end of the day, we want performance. We all have to stay at tier one. Everybody's got to compete. That's the tier one nature of the tier one game.
Just before we end this, since you brought up the Swai Shipping Fiji and Draw, thoughts on the new coach coming in?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that was, it's great. Congratulations on the new coach. I'd like to commend them for the process that they've taken. It was a much more transparent, global one. And thanks to Jeff Wilson has come and he's completely changed the climate, the relationship. We're now working well together and having great conversations how we can better build these things. And we'll look forward to the new coach coming in. We will support in whatever way we can. And we all want a successful draw team. We all want a successful Flying Fijian team. We all want successful school teams. We've got to accept some change and some innovation.
So I guess we'll just have to wait for that report to drop, and after the board meeting,
yes,
mid of next month.
Yeah, once the details are worked out, we will make the announcement. I'm happy to come and sit here and explain to the people, your viewers. It will be an honest and open conversation. I think it's important that we have that, because this is something that involves every family who's got a child in the game or involved in the game. We have between 120 to 130,000 registered players. So just think about that. These players have their parents, and we add on 2, plus their siblings, plus their aunts and uncles and cousins. All of a sudden, it's about 600,000. That's the ecosystem, almost 3/4 of the population. So it's big. We are mindful of that, and so we need to manage that well and try to bring in innovation and all these things. And bear with us, please. We will get there.
We'll get there.
We will get there, definitely.
You've heard it right there from the Fiji Rugby chair, Mr. John Sandy. We will get there. Hey, let me know in the comments down below who you'd love to see sitting next to me as we talk about sports. Could be rugby, netball, swimming even.
Yes.
Let me know, and we will get them here for you. Vinava Levu, Mr. Sandy, for joining us this evening. Hope to see you soon again.
Naka, anytime. Naka, thank you.
Kaka, just